ESPN joins the fans of the most beautiful game in the world. In Europe, skill, tactic and precision. In the United States, force, courage and speed. In Brazil, magic, passion and talent. In the Netherlands, touch, power and excitement. And if that's not enough, the World Cup qualifying matches crowns the trip around the 5 continents. Football around the world on ESPN, the world's greatest fan. For great sports every day is ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. ESPN presents an encore of the finest UEFA games from last year with the best of the UEFA Champions League. Today, could they knock out mighty Manchester United? The giant killers Porto are on their way to glory. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Back we come to Charlotte, North Carolina. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Michelle Tafoya as you look at downtown. Beautiful architecture here. And right downtown, Bank of America Stadium, home of the Panthers. Talked about that front four. Now we start the second quarter. It's second down and 10 for Carolina at the 43-yard line. And Mark Roman, who was injured in the last minute of the first quarter, is back in the game. And here comes the blitz, and Delhomme gets nearly sacked by a former Panther, Hannibal Navies, who comes in uncontested from the right side of the defense.
Yeah, that was one of the zone dogs out there because they drop their defensive line on the left side and they bring the pressure out from this side, and they're going to drop KGB on that side. KGB going from the right defensive end to the left defensive end. That's what you call a zone dog, where you bring pressure, overload a side, bring it from the right, and drop your offside defensive lineman. And then you can play zone behind a blitz.
That's Ricky Prohl going in motion. Delhomme on third down, flushed out of the pocket and pressured, and then throws, and that is nearly intercepted. He tried to get it into Steve Smith, and it's Ahmad Carroll who breaks it up, a rookie out of Arkansas.
Now, one thing, they haven't loosened this Packer defense up yet, and Steve Smith is a guy that is going to have to do it. And I think that, you know, he's running some ins and outs and some of those types of patterns. I think somewhere maybe the next time the Panthers get the ball on first down, it's about time to try and get Steve Smith deep.
Todd Sauerbrunn back to kick.
They probably want the penalty on this to give him 5 more yards
52,
to punt.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Now, that is a penalty that could be declined. So, and I was thinking for a second, well, maybe they're trying to trick him instead of taking a delay. But you could still decline it if you were the Packers.
I would have declined it because this is what Sauerbrunn wanted. He wanted 5 more yards to get an angle kick and kick the ball inside the 10.
That's a different way to get it. They probably would have declined the delay of the game, figuring, okay, that's what Carolina wants, but you give them a false start, and they accepted it. Not a bad ruse. Fair caught, 12-yard line by Antonio Chapman. Mark Fields mic'd up. Take a listen.
He's doing is sitting back deep, and he just looking. You know what I'm saying? We really can't spell that because there ain't no lead blocker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What they're talking about there is Amon Green is lining up deep, and he's as a single back, and there's no other back there, and they're running that counter where it's the off guard coming and leading with the tight end coming from the other side, so their side can't feel or see it.
Now Favre begins this drive from the 12. Green Bay up 3-0 early second period. Green. The hard deuce. Green's already carried the ball 10 times for 38 yards. Last year he averaged 5.3 per tote.
It was funny, I'm talking to Mike Sherman last night. He said that the Packers have really evolved into a running team. And I think that, probably that happened last year, maybe even the year before. But you always tend to think the Packers, Brett Favre, throw the ball all over the lot. It could very well get into that in this game, but the Packers right now are a running team.
Well, they've run the ball 15 times and only passed it 5. And Favre will try to launch a 6th, but instead he gets dumped at the 6-yard line. Brenson Buckner comes in for the sack.
That's one thing with this front four. If you play action pass, if you get to the outside, and if you can't find your first guy, the ball better get out of there, because there is going to be a defender right there. Watch Buckner. He's here, and they know one thing, that when Favre starts to run, he'll do anything, so you have to keep chasing him if you're a defensive lineman, and if you're a defensive back, you have to plaster your receivers, because he can throw it deep at any time.
Crowd roaring. 3rd down and 15 after the 7-yard sack. And they'll try to get some extra room, but only 2 yards for Amon Green. So a good defensive stand, forcing Green Bay to punt from the end zone. Mike Rucker makes the tackle.
Now the fans really got into that on 3rd down, because they know that if they could stop them there like they did, that they're going to come up with good field position for their offense. Plus, this guy's a pretty good punt returner, too.
The longtime veteran Brian Barker just signed by Green Bay to punt. Has that one bounce at the 49-yard line. And it's an 11-yard bounce for a total of 51 yards on that kick. And Carolina will have it at its 40-yard line. 3-0 Packers.
ESPN joins the fans of the most beautiful game in the world. In Europe, skill, tactic, and precision. In the United States, force, courage, and speed. In Brazil, magic, passion, and talent. In the Netherlands, touch, power, and excitement. And if that's not enough, the World Cup qualifying matches crowns the trip around the 5 continents. Football around the world on ESPN, the world's greatest fan.
Intimidated? Leave it in the trunk of your car with your tennis shoes. Worried? Come on. They make an oversized driver with a huge sweet spot, especially for this occasion. Afraid of the water? Ball's not. After all, you've done this 101 times in your head. Just make this number 102.
Rich Beam, one of the many stars you'll see in the PGA on ESPN.
Join ESPN for Week 2 Sunday night coverage of the National Football League. Carson Palmer and the Cincinnati Bengals host the Miami Dolphins. Both teams coming off losses in Week 1. They'll be looking for their first win.
12:48 remaining in the opening half as the defense stiffened, forced the Packers to punt from deep in their own territory, and now Carolina will take over at the 40-yard line, 1st down. Delhomme escapes a sack, and then the pass is dropped out in the flat by Hoover. That's Niall Diggs coming in, who almost got the sack. Packer defense with Bob Slowick taking over as the defensive coordinator. Ed Donatel, who'd been with Sherman since Mike had come to Green Bay, is the guy who paid the price, in effect, for those ugly words, as I said at the open in Green Bay, 4th and 26.
Yeah, and then you get a new defensive coordinator and Bob Slowick, and the new defensive coordinator is always going to be more aggressive, which he was just on that last play because he came on a blitz.
2nd down and 10. Set up a screen to the near side to Nick Goings, the fullback. And Goings is going, and gone for a 1st down with a flag down at the end of the play at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, that's the thing that you have to do. You know, blitzing is good, putting pressure is good, but if you keep doing it, they're going to take advantage. They blitz.
No foul, face mask, 64, defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the play, 1st down.
James Lee.
I was going to say, and he's taking Grady Jackson's play. But they blitzed the play before, then they come on another blitz. So now the Panthers are expecting it. They set up a screen pass out here to the left. And when you blitz guys, you have fewer guys to cover on the screen, and the Panthers take advantage of it, get a 1st down plus a penalty. So it's a good thing to do. You say you put pressure, and when it works, it's great. But when they expect it coming and they can make a play for it, then it can get you in trouble.
The call was a Gwen Stefani, no doubt. Rolling to his left, flags again being thrown. Delhomme throws, and it's caught at the 18-yard line by Muhsin Muhammad. But there's going to be holding here on Jordan Gross, who has moved from right tackle to left tackle. 2nd-year guy out of Utah.
Holding, 69, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And anytime you see the ball, the flag thrown right there as a quarterback goes outside, you know that it's going to be on the tackle. You see, Mangum starts to block him, then Gross comes off on him, and just as Delhomme is getting around him right here, you see, it looked like he had to hold him. If he's going to let Delhomme get that corner, Jordan Gross had better hold to be about to be another.
1st and 20. Panthers have been whistled 4 times tonight. Delhomme with one-on-one coverage here, and he tries to get it over to Ricky Prohl, but Michael Hawthorne is right there with him step for step.
That was very good coverage by Michael Hawthorne, because it's another blitz, so he's going to be out here knowing that he's man-to-man on Ricky Prohl. Prohl has a pretty good quick move. Hawthorne is able to get his hands on him and then run step for step with him and then get that left hand up there and knock the ball down.
We talked about Mike McKenzie, a holdout. Hawthorne's the guy taking his spot.
We talk about aggressiveness. The Packers have just blitzed 4 plays in a row.
2nd and 20. And this time they go on the ground to the 36-yard line. Aaron Campman stops Davis, and let's check in with Michelle.
You've been talking about Mike McKenzie, Al. He is holding out for 2 reasons. Doesn't like his contract, feels he's underpaid, and number 2, from his point of view, he and Mike Sherman don't get along. They are determined to get him traded, he and his agent. His agent, Drew Rosenhaus, telling me, we don't think he will ever play for the Packers again. We want him traded. And by the way, when they re-signed Al Harris, he spoke for McKenzie when he said that was pouring salt on the wound.
Well, yeah, they extended Harris, who came over last year from Philadelphia. I know that New Orleans had expressed some interest in McKenzie recently, and Delhomme gets sacked by Nick Barnett, and a flag is thrown at the end of the play as Barnett is able to sack him and then say, no, that was legal.
Don't you feel that Barnett is guilty, and he knows he's guilty?
Sure.
With that look? When you put your palms down like that and go like that, that means, I hope you didn't see it, but I did it.
Or at least confer.
But he got in there quickly, didn't he?
Foul, face mask, 56 on the defense. Penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
That's where they got Nick Barnett, because he can run. He has great speed. You can tell the way that he reacted that he did grab the face mask. Right there, his left hand gets on Jake Delhomme's face mask and helps him take him down. Now that palm's down like that, that means I did it, but I hope you didn't see it. And here's where he came from. I mean, he hit that thing perfectly. You know, in a deal like that, you don't mean to grab the face mask. It's just part of your tackle.
And you had a free road. Another flag is down. All of a sudden, it's a penalty-filled, flag-strewn period here. Ball at the 31-yard line. Coleman
Illegal
again.
motion, 87, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
We're talking about Carolina, John. You know, the thing they did last year, and you can say, you know, well, they were lucky, but they won 7 games by 3 or fewer points. They won 3 overtime games. They won the close ones. They were tremendous in the clutch last year.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of team they are. You know, they're not a high-powered offense. There's not a lot of explosion there, but they just stay in the game. They do smart things. They have a very good attack. You know, their defense will keep them in. They're a very solid team. They try and get you into the 3rd and 4th quarter and beat you there.
At the 37-yard line. I've always felt you can't call a team when a team does it that often. Yeah, well, sure, there's a certain amount of luck, but you know, you hang in, and then John Fox had all of the right tricks at the end, and who, you know, you and I are both of a mind that if the last team that has the ball in the Super Bowl wins, it just happened to be New England.
Right. If the Panthers get the ball one more time, they're going to win that game because the Patriots couldn't stop them. But the thing is, you know, it's the old success breeds success. You know, you get in a close game and you win it, and the next time you get there, you know that you can do it, so you do it. And then you win 2 or 3 of them in a row, and you can just kind of roll that.
Jerry Richardson, the founder of this team, 2nd and 12. The architect of it, and it's Ricky Prohl breaking a couple of tackles. And Ricky Prohl, who has been around forever. 15th season in the league, played college ball in this state at Wake Forest, picks up 21.
But I'll tell you, he's a big play guy. I mean, Ricky Prohl doesn't start as a wide receiver. He's never been in a Pro Bowl. As you say, Al, played 15 years, always comes up with a big play. Here, that is great pass protection. Jake Delhomme was looking to the left, couldn't find anything, finally finds Ricky Prohl out here wide open on the right side. But when you have that much time, Jake Delhomme is going to find an open receiver.
Prohl 608 receptions, but as John said, no Pro Bowls. And Deshaun Foster showing some hard running here, gets tackled by Barnett after a gain of a couple. Brett Favre looking on Favre off to a slow start tonight. He's only thrown the ball 5 times. Brett's completed 2. And the Packers have only 16 yards through the air.
Right, and passing-wise, he hasn't gotten into any kind of rhythm at all yet. And that was one of the things the Panther defense wanted to do to Brett Favre, is not let him get into a rhythm or knock him out of the rhythm. And I don't know that the Packer offense has really tried yet to get into a passing rhythm.
2nd down and 7 from the 9-yard line. Delhomme over the middle, wide open, and that's a touchdown almost for Steve Smith. Steve Smith across the line for a first down and looked like he was going to get to the goal line, and they're going to put the ball inside the 1.
And they caught him on another blitz here. They're blitzing straight up the middle, trying to get to Jake Delhomme. And Jake Delhomme finds Steve Smith. You see him, he's the outside receiver. He comes underneath, just comes under control. I'll tell you, Steve Smith is only about 5'9", but he is one tough guy.
They helicoptered him, otherwise he gets into the end zone.
Usually when you get helicoptered, you don't get into the end zone. You never get into the end zone, the fact when you get helicoptered.
10th play of the drive. Delhomme throws, and that is a little bit behind the receiver, but caught by Brad Hoover for the touchdown. Passes, 10 plays, and 6 points.
Brad Hoover is the fullback right here, but watch how quickly Jake Delhomme gets rid of that ball. It's a little behind him, but the minute that he sees that Hoover is at the end zone, he hits him right now. I mean, that ball really comes out of there quickly from this guy. Green Bay on that drive blitzed 7 out of 10 times.
John Casey with Sauerbrunn holding. Carolina's first touchdown of the new year. Halfway through the second quarter with the Panthers now on top.
Kick off each and every weekend with the new ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass. All the burning issues of the moment covered in full by our expert panel. More interviews.
Breaking news concerning Patrick Vieira.
More interaction.
Not a chance.
More controversy.
That's just talk.
The all-new ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass.
Don't you like football? You want to get away from football?
There's enough. Same show, only better. Fridays, only on ESPN. Your home for the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
We take you to Pebble Beach, California, where Champions Tour star Craig Stadler continued a strong year. Stadler captured his 4th title of the season, shooting a final round 66, finishing 15 under par at the inaugural First Tee Open at Pebble Beach. He now has 7 victories overall in 2 years. ESPN celebrates Craig Stadler, our Athlete of the Week.
.43 left in the first half. Charlotte, North Carolina. Panthers now on top, 7-3. 11-yard line. Casey's kick is run back by Davenport up to the 29-yard line. Green Bay goes to work there. 7:39 remaining to be played in the opening half, and the Panthers on top by 4.
The second half of the season, and now is the time for the contenders to show their stuff. Don't miss all the exciting action of the Major League Baseball pennant races every week on ESPN. For great sports every day is ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Moment 31. Walter Payton ran straight into the record books in 1984.
Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher, surpassing Jim Brown.
I don't care how many records are broken. I don't care if they get 20,000 yards more than I did. They still won't have as much fun as I did.
Payton died of liver failure in 1999.
ESPN presents an encore of the finest UEFA games from last year with the best of the UEFA Champions League. Today, could they knock out mighty Manchester United? The Giant Killers Porto are on their way to glory. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Week 2 of the season concludes next Monday night. What a matchup. Minnesota, Philadelphia. Culpepper, McNabb, Moss, Owens, each coming off big wins yesterday. That's next Monday night. This is Green now, carrying on first down for a gain of 3. Tripped up by Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, I think the Panther defense is really doing a pretty good job of containing the Packers. And, you know, we were talking about Mark Fields and how he's wired. And he's talking about Amon Green all the time in the running game and how slippery he is. But I feel that their defense have given some plays, but they really have this thing under control.
Well, we went to the break. Najee Davenport needed some help in getting off the field, so the running back for the moment check on him as David Martin makes the catch, and Martin, one of their tight ends, along with Bubba Franks. Sean McHugh picks up the first down.
You know, the Packers love to do this. You know, they get Flo going one way, get two backs going to the right, and then sneak a tight end, in that case David Martin, back to the other side. You see, you get a back going there, a back going there, and then here comes David Martin going against the flow, coming back this way. They love that play. Get two backs going one way, the tight end going the other way.
Out of the gun, the snap was high, but Favre still is able to get the ball to Amon Green. And Amon Green has now carried the ball 13 times for 41 yards. And let's get the Davenport injury update from Michelle.
Well, it sounds like a strained right hamstring. That's what they're telling us on Najee Davenport. And obviously he's very valuable, particularly between the 40s when Amon Green often takes his rest, as you mentioned earlier, Al.
So right now they are between the 40s, and they'll spread it out with nobody in the backfield. Second down and 8. It's like a sop to Davenport. If we don't have you between the 40s, we'll have no backs. Except Tony Fisher, who actually is a back but was lined up in the slot, makes the catch.
And Tony Fisher is more of a wide receiver type of guy, or a receiving type running back, a guy that you can do that to. And again, the reason they do that is just to keep Amon Green fresh. So when they get, you know, if they're coming out, they have to get the ball out. They want him in there. And then when they're going in, they want him in there.
Now Nick Lucci comes in as a fullback, and there's Green at tailback. Third down and 1 from the 50. And with Lucci leading the way and taking Minter out of the play, Green picks up the first down and is tackled by Mark Fields at the 45-yard line.
You know, the other thing they do is they bring a tackle, Kevin Berry, in, and he plays tight end. And usually when they do that, they're going to run behind him. And you'll see, here's Berry right here. Here's the tight end here. This is the power side, and they usually go to the power side. Watch Berry. He just takes his guy, gets him turned to the inside, then gets him pushed back. You see, he gets Julius Peppers. He gets on him. Then he has enough power and strength to turn him, and then enough power and strength to take him backwards.
From the 45, Favre deep into double coverage, reaching for it and not able to get it is Donald Driver.
I was watching, excuse me, I was watching the Panthers practice the other day, and they were talking to their defense all the time. They were using the word plaster, 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 and that was plaster right there, because no matter what happens, wherever Brett Favre goes, he can still run and he can throw it the length of the field. And this is what plaster means. I mean, you get it up and you just stay with your guy. You plaster, you just stay. Don't worry. Don't look back at Brett Favre. Don't think that receiver is ever out of range.
Second and 10 now, 45-yard line. Favre along the sideline, 22-yard line. Ball is caught. Javon Walker is right there and picks up the first down. Balls it in at the 21-yard line. Ricky Manning with the coverage.
And you just kind of get the feeling that the Packers were kind of going along, sparring, and then the Panthers score and go ahead, and Brett Favre said, okay, enough of this. Let's go out and start playing.
You can't hold them down forever. We know that.
No, and you know, we talk about how they've become a running team. Brett Favre has also become a running quarterback.
Pretty close call right there, but it looked like he did get the knee down in time. And Amon Green now takes the ball for a yard to the 20-yard line.
By running quarterback, I mean, you know, throwing the ball outside the hash marks, not always just a drop back, but a play pass, a bootleg, waggle, on the move, right or left, and not just staying in the pocket.
Mike Sherman, fifth year. 2nd and 9. Driver breaks a tackle, 15, then a flag comes in. Gamble couldn't get him down. Flag is thrown. He's a little short of the first down pending the call by Walt Coleman's group here.
You know, it was interesting there, Al, as they took Kevin Barry and put him at right tackle. They wanted to put Barry in there and let the Panthers think that he was playing tight end and get that 4-4 defense. Just get 3 defensive backs in there. But the Panthers didn't go for it. They didn't put that 4th linebacker in there.
5 yards, number 20 on the defense.
That'll give him a first down. That's Gamble. They couldn't make the tackle. He couldn't make the tackle. Try to grab him by the mask. And now Green Bay will have the ball advanced inside the 10-yard line.
Chris Gamble was saying that he's so young. He was always a fan of Brett Favre and never thought he would ever play against him because he thought by the time he got up to the NFL, Brett Favre would be retired. He said now he's playing against him. He thinks after the game he's going to get his autograph.
1st and goal, ball at the 6-yard line. Green picking, threading, and Green gets in for the touchdown.
Those are the 2 things that Mark Fields was talking about. Ahman Green being slippery is one, and the other thing, not having a lead back. You can't read where the ball's going to. They're just running that counter. That time you're going to see here, he's going to start to the left, counter back here. You pull the off guard, you pull the tight end, you lead, and he just cuts back off it. And that is very, very difficult for this left side of the Panther defense to read.
Bubba Franks threw a nice block on that play. Longwell with the extra point. 20 TDs for Green last season. Number 1 for this year. Gives Green Bay the lead.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell. Or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
Up in the foul ground. Hillenbrand, did he make the play? Yes, he did. What a sensational catch made by Hillenbrand.
I mean, I grew up watching baseball this way. Wow. Oh, wow. Goodness.
What a play by Clayton. 2 pretty good shortstops out there tonight, huh?
You can see he's going to hang up, but Delgado is there, and he reaches in, and he got it. He caught it.
To right field, sinking fast. Roberts dives and makes the catch. Double play coming up as he fires to second for the out.
Join ESPN for coverage of the 2004-2005 UEFA Champions League season as Celtic battles Barcelona in match day 1 action. And Rick Larson facing his former club.
2 heavyweight fighters just kind of sparring and feeling each other in the first 3 or 4 rounds.
Absolutely. And now they're going to begin to open it up. Rod Smart of He Hate Me fame from the old XFL. 26-yard line. Jake Delhomme, what kind of a guy is he? Well, here's a little bit of a look.
A one-word philosophy, persevere. I can eat cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I hate celery. I think the world's greatest athlete is Bo Jackson. I hate to play golf. My hidden talent is that I can muck a stall with the best of them. Done.
Hate celery I get. Hate to play golf? Come on, Jake.
especially for a quarterback. You know, I mean, there's some old defensive linemen and offensive linemen that don't play much golf, but there are very, very few quarterbacks in this league that don't play golf.
Well, the guy who loves to muck a stall throws deep, and it's incomplete. Steve Smith was the intended receiver, and Al Harris was back there covering on the play. And here's Michelle.
I love that term you used, Al, but in putting it in more layman's terms, Jake Delhomme loves horses. It's his first passion. He has a business with his dad and his brother, and I asked what the most promising horse was that they had right now in terms of racing. Well, the horse is named She Hate Me, and that is with permission from Rod Smart, and that's the actual name that's registered in the New York Jockeys Club, and that's a 2-year-old filly they bought for $11,000. You can see her race in Louisiana in the future, Al.
I just love that. That is great. 2nd and 10. And that's caught on a slant by Smith. And Smith takes it up to the 43-yard line. Al Harris is there to make the tackle as we tick down to 3 minutes to go in the half.
You know, one thing, when you have speed like Steve Smith, they're always going to give you a cushion. Watch Al Harris play out here because he's worried about his going deep, so he plays off him, waiting for him to take that deeper cut, and then he gets a free release and can get right in on that slant. But that's the thing that speed does. I mean, speed when you go up the field kills, and speed when you run in the short pattern gives you too much respect.
Malone, 8 out of 14 for 107 yards, and breaking off the pattern and nearly having it intercepted by Michael Hawthorne was Muhsin Muhammad, breaking to the outside and DeLone throwing deeper. 2nd and 10.
He knew that he wanted to get the ball out of there because the Packers are coming on a blitz. So once he sees or reads blitz, he knows that he has man-to-man coverage out there. So he sees Muhsin Muhammad out there. He wants to get the ball to him. He broke it off to the out, and he just threw it deep.
And Brett thinking, oh, man, he could have had it back with 2:28 to go in the half.
Brett's thinking you got to catch those things because, you know, that's what they've said for Brett Favre, about Brett Favre for years. He's going to throw you a couple. You better catch him.
Toss. Davis gets out of the backfield and takes it up to the 46-yard line. Niall Diggs almost had him, and he was able to break it free. And with 2:15 to go and probably ticking down to the 2-minute warning, it will be 3rd down and 6.
Now, one of the things John Fox said he was worried about was his offensive line. I think in this first half, his offensive line has played very well tonight.
10-7 Green Bay at the 2-minute warning.
ESPN joins the fans of the most beautiful game in the world. In Europe, skill, tactic, and precision. In the United States, force, courage, and speed. In Brazil, magic, passion, and talent. In the Netherlands, touch, power, and excitement. And if that's not enough, the World Cup qualifying matches crowns the trip around the 5 continents. Football around the world on ESPN, the world's greatest fan.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
The Los Angeles flight only has one window seat.
'Hey, I thought that was you.
From Los Angeles, California, X Games 10, September 21, only on ESPN.
2 minutes to play in the first half of our matchup between Green Bay and Carolina on Monday night. SportsCenter in-game kicks off the halftime report. Major League Baseball, the Marlins have a strange home game. A little UEFA Champions League preview and also some NFL injury news. And also the Ryder Cup is coming up later on this week. We'll get you out now to Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina for the final 2 minutes of the first half of Monday Night Football.
Passed away, a performance for the ages, and a great piece coming up at the half.
That whole thing, I think we all know about Brett Favre and what he does and what he's been and what he means to his team and to football. But that night,
26 offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That night was one of the most amazing performances that I've ever seen in any sport.
I remember you saying in the scene set, I mean, there's no roadmap for this. How did anybody know what was going to happen? It was interesting about him saying that he was worried about laying an egg that night.
Yeah, but that's Brett Favre. And when you see this piece at halftime, you're going to realize how much he loves his teammates and his teammates love him.
3rd and 11 on a slant that's caught and rolling down. Al Harris as he takes the receiver down at the 46-yard line. Steve Smith making the catch. They'll move the chains, first down, conserving their timeouts.
And that's the thing you wanted to do. They brought 8 on that play. So Al Harris is man-to-man out there, so you know that once you get inside of him, you can run away from him. Why? Because there's no linebacker in there. If he could break that tackle, that could have been a big play for Steve Smith.
It was 3rd and 11. It's a 12-yard gain. The ball is at the 46-yard line. Pressure on DeLome. And for the moment he gets away, he was out of the pocket, and that was Michael Hawthorne coming in from the corner to put the pressure on and break up the play.
Green Bay is one of those teams that will do that. You know, usually they'll bring a corner off a slot, but in this case they'll bring a corner off a wide receiver, off this position here, and bring him on the blitz. And you get him coming with the linebacker, so you get an overload on that side. And Jake DeLome was going that way. He's lucky that he got rid of that ball.
Intentional grounding, number 17, offense. He did not get the ball back to the previous line of scrimmage. Loss of down, 2nd down.
That was an obscure flag from our point of view, but you have to at least get it back to the line of scrimmage or in the neighborhood, and he did not. He was throwing it away.
That's if you get outside the tackle box. See, he's outside now, so now you have the right to throw the ball away, but you have to throw it up to the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to claim, he's going to claim that he was trying to hit Hoover. There's Hoover 45. Well, he's 8 yards shy of Hoover.
And it was about 2 or 3 yards shy, it looked like, of the original line of scrimmage.
Even Hoover couldn't have vacuumed that. I wasn't going to say that, but you know how that works. 2nd and 24. Backside screen set up for Chris Mangum. And Mangum, with a nice little hurdle move, gets back to the 45-yard line of Green Bay, but he's still about 9 yards shy of the first down after a gain of 15. And that timeout will be taken by Carolina. This will be.
Join ESPN for coverage of the 2004-05 UEFA Champions League season coming up on Tuesday as Internacional battles Werder Bremen in match day 1 action. Check the time in your area of the world as ESPN, once again, your home for UEFA Champions League action. Now let's get back out to Carolina, where the Packers and the Panthers are finishing up the first half.
You got a quarterback now who loves to muck a stall. Have you ever mucked a stall?
Are you kidding me?
You know what muck would mean if you were in a stall.
Well, I know plenty about horse racing, but I've never mucked.
You know what it means?
I mean, it's kind of like cleaning it up.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm asking. Yeah. I don't know because I've never mucked.
Yeah, well, muck is, you take whatever instruments you take, rakes and all that stuff, and then you muck a stall. Great sound effects there.
And we know that Jake DeLome is a great mucker, and now we're going to see how he is on 3rd down here.
All he wants to do is wind up on the horse trailer. 3rd down and 9. And DeLome throws, and a little bit behind Pro. It might have been deflected, and it's 4th down.
I know what the Panthers are going to have to do at halftime here. They're going to have to work on what they want to do against this blitz, because I've seen the Packers, I think, blitz more in this half than I can remember in the NFL in years and years. I mean, they are just going after Jake Delhomme every play.
So their new defensive coordinator, Bob Slowick, when he said we'll be more aggressive, at least for tonight, he meant it.
Yeah, I talked to Darren Sharper down in the field before the game, and he says we're going to go after him. He said we're going to have 8 guys up there. We're going to have 9 guys up there all night.
He wasn't lying. A little penetration that time, but Sauerbrunn gets it away. And it floats into the arms of Chapman with a flag down after Chapman makes the catch at the 19-yard line. Walt Coleman of Tuck Rule fame. That was his call in that Oakland-New England game a couple of years ago.
During the return, holding 28 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Ahmad Carroll. Condoleezza Rice, the national security advisor, is right there, and she's in town because her father was at Johnson Smith College, and she was delivering a speech there. You know, I read an interview with her a couple of years ago, John, where she talked about what she wanted to do, you know, post-government career. She wanted to be the commissioner of the National Football League. I said, come to the booth. It's a lot easier. She said, now that really sounds like a good idea.
You know, I think there's going to be a job open there for the commissioner of the National Football League in a couple of years. I think that Paul Tagliabue signed a new contract, but I think he's only going to be there a couple more years. So if she can just wait a couple of years, that job, I think, will be open.
Well, she hopes it'll be 4. But we're not supposed to talk about anything besides football, so sorry. 1st and 10 from the 8-yard line. And this is carried by Amon Green up to the 14-yard line. So Green Bay will run out the clock if they can, and they should be able to, since Carolina has only 1 timeout.
I think both of these teams are going to go in at halftime and, you know, and put together a different plan. You know, you kind of have a game plan before the game, you know, what you expect. And thinking, you know, that this is the way we want to attack, the way we think they're going to play, then they don't play that way. So you have to make your adjustments at halftime and come out with new and different things in the second half.
Well, Favre's first half, for him, very subpar. 6 of 10 for 68 yards. Green carried for 58, but Brett and the Green Bay Packers will leave the field with the lead at the half. It's Green Bay 10, Carolina 7 at halftime in Charlotte. Lexus Halftime Show will be coming your way next when we come back after this message from the National Football League and a word from our ABC stations.
Kick off each and every weekend with the new ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass. All the burning issues of the moment covered in full by our expert panel. More interviews.
Breaking news concerning Patrick Vieira.
More interaction.
Not a chance.
More controversy.
They're just talk.
The all-new ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass.
Don't you like football? You want to get away from football?
There's enough. Same show, only better. Fridays, only on ESPN. For the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN. It's the second half of the season, and now is the time for the contenders to show their stuff. Don't miss all the exciting action of the Major League Baseball pennant races every week on ESPN. Great sports every day is ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. ESPN presents an encore of the finest UEFA games from last year with the best of the UEFA Champions League. Today, could they knock out mighty Manchester United? The Giant Killers Porto are on their way to glory. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
This is SportsCenter in game. We start with the Expos and the Marlins in Chicago due to Hurricane Ivan. Top of the first, Montreal was up 1-0. Termel Sledge laced one down the right field line. That's a triple scoring. Indy Chavez and the Expos were up 2-0. We go to the bottom of the 7th with the same score, and Alex Gonzalez at the plate. Watch this. Loses the handle on his bat. Goes right into his own dugout. Hits Lenny Harris on the head.